Hey, good morning. Daily Dose is here. Wednesday, hump day, episode 87. Welcome to another edition, not the not so early edition, the regular 8 a.m. edition of the Daily Dose, episode 87, like I said. And today's topic is the good news is you already know, it's a long one, you already know that what you're doing now is not working. I want to draw you in with that and say it again. The good news is you already know that what you're doing now is not working. And you're thinking, what are you talking about? Like, where are you going with this? Right? Good morning, by the way. Let me know if you're here. The Daily Dose is to provide a dose of encouragement. I started this 87 days ago, 87 days later. In today's episode, still going strong. And I sometimes ask myself the same thing. Is this actually working? The good news is you already know that what you're doing is not working. Well, I know for a fact the Daily Dose is working because I've had people reach out to me, message and share. And I had said this before, is if I can help one person in the time that I spend on here doing this live, is that it's a win. And I'd hope to help more. So if you do like this, if you found encouragement and you found value in this, by all means, share this with somebody else. Share this with a friend, somebody who needs us. And maybe there is somebody right now you know who maybe doesn't realize what they're doing isn't working, or they know, but they don't really want to know. They just keep doing it and keep making the same mistakes and kind of keep going through the motions and saying, yeah, if I do this, maybe this time it'll work, right? I get that all the time. In fact, the story behind it, I want to pull you in and share with you the story as a parent, so maybe you can feel me on this. As a parent of teenagers, last night, I was trying to go to bed, and I heard my son, he is playing his Fortnite game, and I don't know if you have teenagers and if they play video games. You know, the part of me is like they've been kind of stuck, at least to some extent. My kids are definitely not too stuck here, and maybe yours are, depending on your rules and how you raise your children. But I would say is even with that, most of my kids are pretty outdoorsy extroverts and stuff. And so part of me, when this lockdown kind of happened, you know, you give them a little bit of leeway, give them a little bit of flex space, right, to play some video games. But what my son got into the habit of was playing video games at like all hours of the night, you know, like late. And if I'm asleep, I'm asleep. But last night, and this is not the first time, that's what I'm going to share with you, is he was playing his video game, and I was trying to go to bed. It was like 9:30. That's about when I go to sleep. And I just kept hearing him making noises, and he's like verbal. And our house isn't that big. It's not like we have like a whole game room or a basement they can go in and play their video games. We have a small, basic little ranch house. So we hear stuff. So I blew up at him last week, and I think I might have shared that with you. And I was thinking to myself, okay, clearly what he's doing is not working. Well, he might think it's working, but I know it's not working. So again, the good news is you already know that what you're doing now is not working. And so I told my wife, I was like, last night she went out and said, I don't want to go in there and blow up at him. I'm about ready to drive over the Xbox with my car and to be done completely. And I don't know if you feel my pain on that, but that's kind of where I was at last night. So she went in there and she's like, you know, this isn't working right now, like that. So it made me bring this conversation because I get this all the time in my lines of work with people that are working on it. Now, this could be related to anything. This could be related to your work. So if you're struggling, please pay attention, because you may be able to dial in on this to what you're going through today. Maybe it's your health, the direction, if you're trying to lose weight. And let me just share with that, because this is kind of what happens. I hear this all the time, is, you know, the good news is, and I say it's good news is, because you already know it's not working. You already know, and I wrote a few things down. You already know that what you're doing now, so let's talk about what you're doing. The good news is you already know now the low-carb diet is not working. Why? Because you've done it. Probably maybe tried 10 times. Oh, but I have success, I lose some weight, and then what happens? If you've done it more than once, it didn't work. Because you did it more than once, and then you put the weight back on, so it truly didn't work. Well, it did to take the weight off, okay. But again, let's just think about this for a minute. Sorry, there's like mosquitoes hovering over. The good news is you already know that what you're doing now is not working. Let's talk about what you're doing now. You already know that doing another cleanse is not working. Well, that feels good for I actually hate doing it for the 7 or 14 days that I do it. And then I maybe feel good for a day or two, and then I get stressed out, and then I go back to all my old habits. So boom, it's not working. And that's good news. It's good news. So hang tight, because it's good news. The good news is doing your workouts, doing your 20-year-old workouts, the workouts you did back when you were in your 20s, it's not working. Why? Because your body's hurting, your body's getting broken, your body's getting injured. You're not seeing the kind of results you saw in your 20s. Does that make sense? Is that resonating with you? All right, the good news is you already know that doing long, endless workouts, endless cardio workouts is not working. You're spending hours and hours walking in treadmills and elliptical machines and long and boring, and it's not working. And you already know it's not working, but that's good news, so hang tight. That's good news. You definitely know this. If you fall in this category, you already know that doing nothing is not working. You already know that. Doing nothing about your health, and we're talking about health now. Again, this could be related to anything. You do nothing about your finances, you do nothing about your relationships. Again, this all falls in lines, right? You can just relate it to but right now specifically we're talking about, because that's my deal. As a online health and fitness coach, on a side note, I am an online fitness coach. I help busy moms and dads over 40, and I help them lose weight without long workouts and impossible diets. Because I know long workouts suck and they don't work, and impossible diets don't work either. And people come in, this didn't work, that didn't work. I hear it every single time I'm on the phone. So what else? The good news is you already know that what works for your spouse doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. You already know that you tried doing what your spouse is doing. It's just not working. It's not working. That's good news. It's good news. You also already know that doing what you see celebrities doing, or when you take your groceries through the grocery line and you see the National Enquirer and the People magazines and the Women's Health, and you see those flashy advertisements, and you see what the easy to do keto diet, lost 100 pounds, right? Lost this, that, and then you're drawn in by emotions, and that just seems so it's just so easy. It's easy. And the good news is you already know that what you're doing now is not working. Again, looking at that, or even trying it, you've tried it, right? And I say this, and I want to be encouraging to you, because it doesn't mean that something doesn't work. It just means that what you've tried isn't working. And the good news is, there's bad news. The good news is you already know. You already know that it doesn't work. You already know that quick fixes don't work. You already know that doing crazy hard workouts that you have no right to do is going to get yourself injured, and you're not going to get the results. You already know that that's not working, because you already tried it. You already know, right? If you pay, and I know this because it happened to me. Yeah, you already know. Let's just take it off of the branch off of the workout stuff for now. You already know that if you spend too much time on social media, spend too much time with this and that, you spend too much time worrying about everything, it doesn't work. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't give you the solution. So since you already know that it's not working, what's the next step? If it's not working, the solution is to find out what works. The hardest thing is we're so drawn into, even more so, and I wrote this down, we're so drawn into working hard to avoid the potential loss than it is when it comes to the potential gain. You're I'll just try this again, even though I know it didn't work, but you know what, I had a little bit of results, and that's all I know. I don't know anything different. There's just so much out there that confuses you. I don't know who to believe, who to trust. This guy Mark's talking all this stuff about, already know it's not working. Well, how do I find what works? Okay. If you're looking for a solution, look for people that have solved problems for others. You see, in my coaching program, I help solve problems. I don't just help people take weight off. That's the easy part. You got to do the work. It takes effort. It's not anything on my end. I just help guide and direct and navigate, right? And at the end of the day, the effort still has to come, still has to be. But sometimes it takes moving past the emotional part of getting away from where you were into getting into what you want to achieve. And how do you get that? You have to look at like, okay, well, I know this didn't work, so I know these things didn't work before. And then you got to ask yourself this question: did it not work, or did you just not put the effort in? Well, you already know that quick fixes, fad diets, all that extreme stuff just doesn't work, right? Temporary fix, like slapping a Band-Aid on it, right? The potential gain is sometimes the hardest because, in fact, we try not to change so much of who we are and how we do things in our lifestyles, and that's sometimes where we get stuck, is in staying in a point where it's so hard to change. We don't like change. Our environment, we don't like to change, right? Everything's starting to change. Everything's been changing lately, and it sucks. Like, I feel you, right? You can't even go out. I can't even go out with somebody talking or getting in an argument about wearing a mask or doing this, or restaurants opening. Oh, hey, I live in Florida. You know what? They're already hating me because we live in Florida and because I'm not wearing a mask in my backyard, that kind of stuff, right? I get it. It's hard. But here's the thing, is we can focus on those things that aren't working, or we can focus on looking at what will work or what could work if we actually gave it a good amount of effort. So if you're struggling right now, if you're listening to this and you're struggling, and that could be related to anything, but if you're struggling specifically, think about this with maybe your walk and your health. Maybe you're in your later 40s or 50s, and the people that I typically work with, I see that they come in and they've shared with me time and time again, here's all the things that I've tried, even messaging people all the time, this. Oh, I just need to try harder. I just need to maybe go back on the cleanse. I need to go back on the keto diet. I need to get back into my gym, you know, and while those may have helped, they didn't provide a solution. So the bad news is, if you still stay stuck, that's the bad news, because what happens is you can't get back the time. You let another year go by, let another 5 years go by, and the things that you know are not working, and you continue to do the things that aren't working, the good news is it becomes bad news, because you're wasting a lot of time, you're wasting a lot of effort, you're wasting a lot of energy. Chances are you're probably wasting a lot of money too. So my encouragement to you today is Wednesday, right? It's like, get over the hump day. If I could just get over the hump. Maybe you started off your week strong. I know how it works, time and time again. I know how it works. I'm so motivated on Monday. You know, I went a little overboard in the week, but I'm really motivated to do my best this week, and I encourage you to do your best. Monday, Tuesday even, I don't do my best, and Wednesday comes around and you're like that point where you kind of fluctuate and it goes from one side to the other, and like, I messed up, or my life's getting in the way and I'm stuck and I'm struggling. And Thursday, and then you realize, well, I didn't make a plan, I didn't prep anything, I didn't write down any specific goals, and I kind of did it again. And the good news is, that does not work. So the bad news is, if you continue to do the same mistakes over and over and over again, right? You continue to do the same things over and over again. That's the definition of insanity. And if you wonder why you can't get your body back in shape, you can't get on a healthier path, if you're all stressed out, if you're all anxious, worried, depressed, can't look at yourself in the mirror, you don't want to even have the lights on when you're naked in front of your spouse, you don't want to put a bathing suit on, you don't know what to do, you're confused, you're angry, you're bitter, and then you're at a point where giving up. And I'm going to tell you, please don't give up. Don't give up. Because you're very valuable, and I want you to know how valuable you are. You're so valuable, you should not give up. Just because it may be good, the good news is that you already know it doesn't work. The better news is, or I say the bad news is staying away from. The better news is there is a solution. For every problem, there is a solution. And I'm going to encourage you, and if it means reaching out to me and getting on my schedule, see if we'd be a good fit. You see, I've spent my entire 25 years of my life working towards helping people find that solution. And my Lean Body Breakthrough coaching program, I say it's the Lean Body Breakthrough because I know people for a fact in their 40s and 50s, a lot of them don't feel they have that lean body anymore. And I'm not talking like swimsuit models or bodybuilding competition. I'm just talking about lean and healthy, lean and strong and healthy, right? And they're not there, and they keep fighting the battle, and they keep fighting, they keep saying, if I just try harder, if I just have more motivation. It takes way more than that. It takes structure and a plan. And sometimes it takes requiring an investment in yourself or even a coach to help ensure you get there. And what better than to have a coach that has the experience, who's been doing it for several years now? So again, if you've been listening to this message, you've been listening to the messages, and maybe you're tired of hearing me, and don't worry, I'm filtering out people. That's it. I'm at about, I'd mentioned this before, I'm at about 5,000 again, and I have people that come in, friend requests, I reach out and that, and I know people just aren't even on Facebook, they're just done. So I'm clearing out people. So again, if you're not engaging, if you're not connecting, and I know sometimes Facebook doesn't, all the algorithms and all that stuff, but point is that as I move forward, I'm looking for more people. I'm looking for more busy moms and dads. I know that there's some of you, and you might be listening right now, this message may be directly for you, is like, I need to do something now. And I have people all the time, and they're ready to go, and then they don't pull the trigger. They're ready to go, and then they don't feel they're worth the investment in a coach. They don't feel, not an investment, because I know I can get people results. They don't feel they're worth it. But I think it's more because they're not willing to change. They're not ready to change. They know it's going to take effort. And yes, it does take effort. Everything in life takes effort. Nothing's for free in this world. Unfortunately, despite popular worldly beliefs, things in life are not free. They take effort. If you want to have a healthy life, you have to pursue a healthy life. It's pretty straightforward. But if you have no idea what that looks like, then why not get around somebody like me who has been doing it for my entire life? And I want to do it for you if you need that help. So go ahead, send me a message, send me a private message, and we'll talk about it. And that's it. The good news is you already know what you're doing is not working. So why don't you get around somebody who knows what does work and who can help you discover what is going to work for you to become your absolute best. That's all I got. Take care. Have a blessed day. We'll see you.